Hello Internet, I'm your mate, and it's time for a new episode of Death Battle. This time we have Omni Man from Invincible versus Homelander from The Boys. Now, as I should say with all reaction videos, please click the link in the description below to go watch the actual episode itself before watching mine or anyone's reactions. Don't be a dick, support the official release. Okay, so how do I know these characters? Not at all. Like, I mean, barely. Like, I haven't watched either show. I've seen, like, a couple clips, like, here and there of a few things. And I've just heard, like, people talk about these characters and, like, this matchup. So, as for who I think is going to win, Homelander is doomed. Completely and totally doomed. I've actually heard people go as far as to say this might be the single, like, the most one-sided fight in all of Death Battle, which is saying something. And I just know pretty much everyone says Omni Man wins. And, that's what I'm gonna go with. Should also mention a couple of things I do want to briefly talk about. One is that they've said on cast that this is gonna be the single most, like, graphic and brutal death battle that they've made. So, yeah, if you're not good with, like, blood and gore or anything, probably shouldn't have watched the original. Just saying. But if this is your first time hearing that warning, watch with caution, but watch the original first before this. The other thing I kind of want to briefly touch on is there are these, like, rumors going around, oh, like, Rooster Teeth forced, like, Death Battle into making this matchup, and all that stuff. So, if you watching actually believe that, or the whole, like, Rooster Teeth bias, or, like, Rooster Teeth, like, force Death Battle to make an episode that they force a certain result or whatever, I think that's fucking stupid. And honestly, it does not paint you in a very good light if you actually believe that. Although on one hand it proves Qui-Gon Jinn right, that the ability to speak doesn't make you intelligent. Now, with that out of the way, I'm going to react to this episode and enjoy an asshole die. Probably because while I don't really have, like, much of an investment in this, I know Homelander's an awful person. So, seeing him die kind of brutally might be some comeuppance. And, yeah, let's watch. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. There we go.
Omni Man, the Invincible champion from planet Viltrum.
Homelander, the world's greatest superhero, brought to you by Vought International.
Few heroes have stood the test of time with more aplomb than the very first, Superman. But what if absolute power did, in fact, corrupt absolutely?
Answer, we're all screwed.
Basically.
Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
I do love it's hand-drawn and just how everything looks so far.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Omni Man. Had you going there for a second, huh?
Not really. His name
Yeah,
is in the title
no,
of
not
the
really.
video.
Well, you might be forgiven for mistaking Nolan Grayson for his classic comic inspiration. He's even got that sexy mustache that he's not afraid to hide with terrible CGI. Born on the planet Viltrum, Nolan was sent to Earth to act as its super-powered alien defender.
That's a good
The
thing.
enlightenment of his utopian homeworld.
And as his superhero alter ego, Omni
Probably wants his
was
son to
better
think.
suited to the task. He saved the world countless times.
I have
working
seen that
alongside
clip.
Guardians of the Globe, and even married and had a son, Mark.
Life couldn't be better. Until
Me?
Mark inherited his dad's Viltrumite powers. That's when Mark found out that his dad was a stinking rat bastard liar.
Turns out, Viltrum wasn't exactly the peaceful utopia Nolan promised.
Peaceful in the sense
It never
that they
is.
culled half their population, murdering billions with their bare hands until only the strongest were left, united by a common purpose.
This Viltrumite empire then went on to conquer planet after planet in their home galaxy, murdering any who dared oppose them. So just scratch that whole peaceful part entirely.
And turns out Omni Man was here to do that same thing to Earth. Sorry, Mark. Your dad's a dick.
Even worse, he's easily the most powerful being on the entire planet.
Imagine combining the raw power of a Kryptonian and the bloodlust of a Saiyan, and what you get is
That's a
basically
terrifying
Due to their
combo.
unique DNA, Viltrumites are composed of smart atoms that they can manipulate to achieve superhuman feats, like holding their breath for weeks on end by drawing more energy from the oxygen inside them.
Kinda reminds me of
Okay.
that whole bioelectric aura thing Superman has. That's basically how comic writers bullshit a science-y explanation for his powers.
Except smart atoms make even less sense. How can atomic
Oh,
structure
boy.
be designated by your DNA? DNA is made of atoms. It's completely nonsensical biological hogwash that I cannot stand.
Uh-oh, comics fans. I'm calling this...
We found something
debunk.
even, like, boomstick hate. Oh, even was
Viltrumites
hates.
can
Sorry.
fly, withstand near absolute zero temperatures, and even possess insane healing factors. You know, stuff like getting punched through the stomach, having your guts ripped out, or having your face
Jesus.
smashed up in a tomato soup. I don't mean to exaggerate, but Viltrumites in this series get fucked up and somehow survive.
However, too much trauma to the brain or heart can overtax their healing factors, and intense heat
Oh
can
yeah,
be
like if it's
especially
good,
damaging.
but obviously the
The most
brain.
powerful Viltrumites can be killed by extended baths in the spicy hot plasma of a star.
And because of their abilities, their inner ear vestibular system is far more sensitive than a regular human's. Intense sonic
Okay.
pressure will disrupt their fragile equilibrium and even prevent them from flying.
Though pushing themselves
Oh.
to their physical limits only ends up making them way stronger. And considering
Oh,
Nolan
much
has
like
been
a
alive
Saiyan.
and planet conquering for thousands of years, he is easily one of the toughest Viltrumites around.
I have seen a
Other
clip of him
aliens
murdering all those
attacking
people.
him will literally splatter their bodies against him. But Mark didn't inherit everything from his dad. Despite his alien genes, Mark was
Yeah,
raised
from
as a
everything I
human
hear,
with
he's a
our
good boy.
weak, pathetic human values like love and compassion and not brutally murdering the shit out of everyone you see like a maniac. Really made it difficult for Nolan to relate to his kid.
Such as when these aliens invaded Earth. Mark tried his best to minimize casualties and outsmart his numerically superior foes.
Nolan, meanwhile, tackled their leader through the portal back to their homeworld, then spent some time systematically annihilating their planet for even daring to
That's
take
another
Earth.
clip I've seen.
Classic generational divide.
Annihilate is underselling it. Nolan flew so fast that his body lit their planet's atmosphere on fire, creating massive country-sized explosions, with his own body as
Which-
the projectile.
Is
Omni-Man has
insane.
flown across galaxies in only a week, survived punching a hole through a planet, and even deflected a meteor the size of Texas.
Assuming that means the diameter of the meteor is equivalent
Hey,
to the
it's,
distance from the top of the panhandle
it's for
to
Steve
the
Animated
of
style.
Mexico. That would make it
I
1,300
like that.
kilometers wide.
And weigh over 4.6 quintillion tons, moving at re-entry speeds of over 11,000 meters per second.
So it's just a visual gag of,
Destroy
like,
the moon
that
twice
Texas.
over.
So Omni-Man is strong enough to slaughter those who considered him an ally, the Guardians of the Globe, all to ensure as seamless a transition to the coming Viltrumite rule as possible.
Too bad for Nolan, it wouldn't be that easy, because he'd have to go through his son first.
Mark was horrified by his father's treachery, spurred on by the reveal that Nolan only viewed his mother as a pet, a disposable broodmare. Invincible fought Omni-Man to save the planet.
And that's when Mark's real Viltrumite training began. Get it? Training? Like the train?
Yes,
Ugh.
we get it. It was a good pun. Jesus.
But if anything, it was Omni Man that learned a lesson about humanity that day.
He may have tried to turn Mark into a Viltrumite, but in reality, as Nolan fled Earth with tears in his eyes, Mark made his father human.
Okay.
Welcome to Vought International, a
Alright, now to get, like,
American conglomerate whose number one
like,
products
more of
are
a
the
full
greatest
analysis on
superheroes
one of
the
these
face
guys.
the earth.
That's right, superheroes are real and they're big business.
Imagine a company that possesses a monopoly on popular culture, pumping out movies, TV shows, action figures, and video games constantly, drowning the masses in a slurry of focus tested
I can't imagine.
opium with no end in sight.
Yeah, imagine.
Within Vought's pantheon of gods among
Though that
men,
being said,
the
I
premier
just
super
I
team,
just shut up
the
and
Seven,
enjoy.
and its leader,
Even at its worst, it's still
He's
good
got the
content.
looks, the charm, the Jesus, and most importantly, he's got the power to slaughter all of America's enemies at home and abroad. This guy probably eats freedom and shits eagles.
But Homelander's squeaky clean corporate sheen is only skin deep. Far from the big blue Boy Scout he's marketed as, Homelander is probably the closest thing to Lucifer on Earth.
Remember Bad Future Biff from Back to the Future? Now give him superpowers and media training.
Vought's official story
That's also a
is that
horrifying
Homelander
image.
was an alien who landed here as a baby, a tale we're all familiar with.
And one that's total bullshit. Homie was made in a lab with Vought's proprietary super soldier serum, Compound V.
And he was a complete success.
Too much of a success. He was murdering rooms of terrified scientists
Jesus.
before his umbilical cord was even cut. In the comics, Vought had to keep a remote-controlled hydrogen bomb strapped to him at all times because they had no idea what else could possibly kill him.
As he grew up, he was subjected to psychological conditioning to make him the greatest and most profitable hero of all time.
It wasn't long before he debuted as
Oh,
Homelander,
boy.
the ultimate defender of the American dream.
Homelander possesses massively superhuman strength, speed, and durability. He can fly at hypersonic speeds, see through walls with X-ray vision, and detect a person's emotional state from just the sound of their heartbeat.
But you know you're done for when he breaks out his heat vision, which is strong enough to slice through crowds of people or split airplanes in half.
Or screams so loud that it shatters the eardrums of anyone around him.
Those are
Oh,
innocent bystanders
okay, I didn't know
whose
he had
ears are
that.
exploding, by the way. Oh yeah, he totally botched this mission to stop a plane hijacking, so he forced each
Yeah,
and
I've-
everyone on board to
I've
die
seen
in
that
the
clip.
resulting crash,
It's
so they wouldn't reveal
super
his
fucked up.
incompetence.
Well, Homelander's powers may be
Jesus.
real, but his heroism is a charade. Though he plays his part well, he cares nothing for the peons he's forced to protect.
The only thing he treasures is, ironically, his public image. Turns out being raised as a lab experiment doesn't create a healthy person. But don't worry, he eventually cleaned up his
never
act and
does.
started a totally 100% healthy sexual relationship with a fellow superhero, who just happened to be an actual Nazi. Speaking of sex, Wish, you know how I'm always saying we should figure out how Superman and Lois get busy?
Oh, God.
Does Homelander prove that they can't when his ejaculation blew his partner to smithereens? Who proved that?
Look, there's no way to sugarcoat this. Considering a human's load has much less mass than a
Jesus
shotgun pellet, it would have to be moving significantly faster to achieve the same kinetic energy.
We're really doing
100
this.
meters per second, or 4.5 times faster than sound.
That's right. Homelander can bust a nut faster than the speed of sound. Well, good night, everybody. Ooh, kinda sucks for humanity that they made this dude the most powerful being on the planet and a psycho murderer.
That's no exaggeration. Stillwell even commented that Homelander has proven immune to every weapon known to mankind, no matter how powerful. Humanity literally lacks the ability to kill him.
That'd include nuclear weapons as powerful as the Tsar bomb, which exploded with the energy of 50 megatons of TNT.
Actually, it could have exploded with twice that. But the Soviets who created it were afraid it would irreversibly alter Earth's biosphere and end the world. That's right, we all almost died.
And that's
Oh.
the kind of shit Homelander can shrug off no problem. He's strong enough to throw a jet with one hand and fast enough to outspeed a C4 explosion.
Despite being an emotionally stunted man-child, Homelander is still surprisingly
So I'm not
cunning
talking,
and
like,
able to
too
manipulate
much.
those around him.
Though it probably wasn't too smart to piss off the world's angriest limey, Billy Butcher. Yeah, turns out forcibly fathering a bastard son with someone else's wife is not a good idea.
Of note, as unjustifiable as it is, to Homelander, this gave him something he never had before. Some small measure of control over his own life.
Being born Vought's star
And
pupil
then-
meant he was under their thumb from the day he was born.
You know, I'm
His
not even gonna say it.
superpowered son was the first thing that was truly his and might be his best option for a new beginning. Or not.
For some reason, I kept thinking to I don't know why I say for some reason, but I just kept thinking to myself, please just end there, just end there. And it did. Okay, so I still think Omni Man is gonna win. Because like everything they said about him is just like leagues better than like what they said about Homelander. Like, yeah, they said Homelander could like at most maybe survive like a 50 megaton bomb, but everything about Omni Man sounds way more impressive. Like, him just punching through a planet, him, like, the way he was moving so fast that he made citywide explosions with just his body as the projectile. Yeah, Omni-Man's just more powerful. Although, that being said, something I do think is going to happen in this episode is they mention Homelander can shout and, like, burst eardrums. And Viltrumite's hearing is, like, super sensitive. So, I feel like that is going to come into play. But I feel like Omni-Man's just going to win. So, yeah, with that being said, I'm just gonna hit play.
Alright, the combatants
So
are
set, and we've run the data
through
for all possibilities.
It's time for
A
a death battle!
Time to watch an evil Superman die. I mean, they're both bad people, so whoever loses, the world they come from
Howdy,
wins.
neighbor. Coco? It's warm. You know, Nolan,
The startup for this fight is super unsettling, and honestly, really well done.
a brand. And it's very important to me that that brand means something. And if I'm playing second fiddle to some goddamn alien, what's really the point, right? What do you think, Debbie?
Jesus.
Oh, she's shy. So, do we have an understanding? Get the fuck out of my country.
I do like how Omni Man just, like, doesn't flinch at anything.
I'm going to feed you your own heart.
And this is his response.
Shit. That was a great line.
It was.
Country? Seriously? I'm not here for your country.
Wow, Christmas got ruined for so many people. Oh, Jesus! Okay, quick thinking.
Never been hit by someone your own size before? You have to turn with the punch to reduce... Better.
Oh, there it is. And all those people died.
What's the matter? Are you going to cry?
Jesus Christ.
After I'm done with you, I'm gonna flashpoint that little shit son of yours! This worthless neighborhood! And every goddamn person you know!
Oh! Okay, that image, that is fucking horrifying.
Remember what I promised you.
Oh! Shit.
Swallow.
Oh, God!
Merry Christmas.
Damn!
Wiz, if there's a god, it sure seems like he was working out some aggression there.
That was a
Despite Homelander's
quick fight.
dominance within the world of the boys, he's a big fish in a small pond, relatively speaking. Homelander can move faster than sound, while Omni-Man can move faster than light. Homelander can survive a nuke, while Omni-Man can shatter the moon twice over.
To be fair, Homelander did have a couple of abilities Omni-Man didn't, like his heat vision.
And while Viltrumite healing factors have failed against continuous exposure to the heat of stars, that still took quite a bit of time, and there's no reason to think Homelander's heat vision was anywhere near that hot.
Hell, Nolan's tanked heat vision from the superhero Mean Supreme before, who can vaporize people in an instant.
Oh,
Even
okay.
if it was hot enough, Omni-Man's superior speed would cut him off before he could do any lasting damage. Similarly, despite being able to disrupt his equilibrium with his supersonic screaming, Homelander wasn't strong enough to capitalize on it in any meaningful way.
Plus, while Homelander is pretty devious when the situation calls for it, Omni-Man has been fighting and conquering worlds for thousands of years. He comes from a warrior culture.
Oh, I didn't even
based
think
on
about the
fighting.
experience
Homelander,
thing.
on the other hand, comes from a test tube and never had to push himself as a fighter because he was always so much stronger than everyone else.
Yeah,
And
Homelander
that's
just
the
like never
difference
bothers
between
with anything
one is a
from what
warrior
I've seen.
and the
Just like
other is a
laser
fool.
eyes,
Homelander
done with
was
it.
never going to give up easy, but Omni-Man's skill, power, and Viltrumite heritage earned him the win.
When it comes to Superman knockoffs,
Jesus.
Homelander had to eat his heart out.
The winner is Omni-Man.
Congrats, Omni Man. That was a really good last line,
We've launched a
Boomstick.
brand new membership program for our
That was
YouTube
really
channel.
good.
By directly supporting our team, you'll get unique emotes, badges, and additional content, and a bunch more.
All right, what we got
Hit that
next?
Join button to see more info, and thanks so much for watching.
Oh, it's Magneto versus Tetsuo? Yep. There we go. I think Magneto is gonna win. Just a hunch. Real quick, I do want to just have a look at the voice actors. Oh right, yeah, it was Tom Schulk who man, that performance and the way he delivered every single line, chilling. And Yang Yi, it was great hearing you back as Homelander. Glad you got to do a bit more. As for the fight itself, goddamn, that was so brutal at the end. Oh my god, just... And there were quite a few references that I did get, like, in the fight. Like, the way Homelander, like, the way Omni-Man held up Homelander to, like, have the plane, like, fly into him, but he cuts through it with his heat vision, just like he did in The Boys. It's like... That's a clever way of, like, fusing the two together. Like, it's a nice touch. Man, that like, last shot after Homelander's jaw has been ripped off and Omni-Man just, like, stands over him with his eyes blacked out. It's like... Man, that's gotta go up as, like... Probably, like, some of the best frames I've seen in a death battle. Like, I might have to make, like, a compilation of, like, favorite, just, like, shots from death battles. Like, if I do, I might post it on Twitter at some point. But that one's definitely going in there. And while the fight was a little short, I didn't expect it to be, like... Or at least it felt short. I didn't expect it to be, like, too long, especially given it's, like, a completely hand-drawn fight. And I imagine it must have taken, like, so goddamn long to make that. Like... Seriously, mad props to the, like, in-house, like, 2D team. Like, honestly, like, especially with how Homelander looked, it almost looked like an episode of Invincible, just from, like, everything I've seen of it. So, mad props there. And as for the next time... Man, Tetsuo's gonna die, from everything I've heard. Man, aside from that, I'm excited to see Magneto, because, like, they've said on cast, Magneto is one of those characters, and it's just, like, we really want to bring him in, but, like, who do we put him up against? And I guess they finally settled on, Tetsuo, and, well, I haven't, like, seen Akira. I've seen, like, references to it in, like, other media. Like, of course, the motorcycle slide. Or, like, I think this happens to Tetsuo, where, like, his body, like, absorbs stuff and, like, becomes, like, a vomit-inducing, like, entity? I don't really entirely know what it is, but I've seen that parodied in, like, other shows. So I at least know some of Akira. And while Magneto I mostly know from the movies, I do know he's an Omega level mutant. We've seen 2 of those in Death Battle before, those being Cable and Storm. And I think we remember how powerful they were. I'm just gonna stop this recording because I don't know what else to really say. So, thanks for watching all of that stuff, and let's see, I did Goku last time, so here's my Ruby outro. Bye.
This is Ruby Rose, and you've been watching Your Only Mate. Bye!